now send down your operator.
Have no fear, fellow citizens. The Mediator is here.
Good morning and welcome to 2023. Welcome to this week's edition of The Mediator with the host Brian West, here to give you the top 8 headlines and developing news stories that made it this week. Now, as usual, I give you the top 8 local headlines and developing news stories that made it first, followed by a movie clip, a skit, a trailer, or something that's going on in the community, or maybe some pictures. And then I'll give you the top 8 international headlines and developing news stories that made it, folks. So let's waste no time. Oh, yeah. 2023. Let's get to it. Story number 1. Another incident at a local mall draws attention to city youth. 2 teen girls are being charged after a fight in the Southern Park Mall took place the day after Christmas. Now, according to multiple stories, the fight drew a large crowd. Now, this is not long after fights broke out at the Eastwood Mall some time ago. Now, what got the story in is the fact that the 2 girls were only 13 and 15 years old. City youth remain a top concern in today's polarized culture. That's why story number 1 made it this week. Story number 2. The Chill Can story is still alive and well. The talk now seems to be as if the MJ Joseph Development Corporation purposely reneged on its deal with the city of Youngstown. Now, an article published December 24th goes deeper into the Chill Can saga, as the judge has ordered the company to repay $1.5 million in grant money that the city gave out of its gave out of its pocket and out of the taxpayer money in hopes for jobs. Now, the article is detailed, but at this moment in time, it seems that the story seems to be a little one-sided. With little, the article doesn't have that many words or that many statements from MJ Joseph on what caused them to cave in on the deal and leave the property just abandoned. So right now the story seems to be very, very one-sided from the city's perspective in demanding their money back, but there's not been much press about MJ Joseph. Now, past headlines say that they cited COVID-19, but there could be much more vital information that could be being left out about this story. That's why it's still in the headlines. This story is still developing. Story number 2 staying alive. Story number 3. The AMR story hangs on into the new year. Starting January 1st, emergency medical transport will be handling Youngstown's ambulance emergency response service. The response team landed a $4 million deal over the next 3-year span after AMR's contract was not renewed. Now, AMR demanded a subsidy after serving Youngstown for some time, but the city refused to meet AMR's request. That's why story number 3 crept in this week. Story number 4. Canfield schools get $10,000 in grants. C.H. Campbell and Hilltop Elementary School made headlines after each has been awarded $5,000 to expand science, technology, engineering, and math programs. Now, according to one report, the funds will be used to purchase Spike Prime robots, which are Lego building kits. They're Lego building kits. Now, 163 public schools in 60 Ohio counties received the award, and 2 Canfield schools was one of them. So story number 4 made it this week. Story number 5. Another local lawsuit. The lawsuit by Ricky Morrison of Poland claims intimidation, bribery, telecommunications fraud, interference with civil rights, dereliction of duty, failure to report crimes, and violating the state's Open Meeting Act. Now, the defendants, according to a front page article published Wednesday, in the story, the article was published Wednesday, the 28th of December. The defendants include 3 commissioners: Carol Rigetti, David Disler, and Anthony Trafficanti. Now, County Administrator Audrey Tillis and Gina DeGenova are also in this, all tied up in all this mess. Now, this is all after Morrison was fired December 2nd by the county solely because of his support for Republican Gino DeFabio, who unsuccessfully ran against Remigio Righetti, now the Democrat incumbent. This story is still gaining some steam, especially after it surfaced a few weeks ago on the front page, and is staying alive. Big headline. Story number 6: Weed Foundation gives away 1.1 million, or should I say the Weed Foundation. The Raymond John Weed Foundation is in the headlines after grants totaling about 1.1 million hit the headlines. Now, dedicated to the community, the company has been dedicated to community building that promotes a racially equitable future. The foundation has been committed to improving the Warren and Youngstown area, according to the reports. Now, Trumbull Neighborhood Partnership, Youngstown Neighborhood Development Corporation, and Paradise Gardens are all set to receive portions of the funds, according to a local article published December 27th by the Vindicator. So story number 6 almost made it to the top 2 this week. Story number 7 and the top 2 local headlines and developing news stories that made it in this week. Woo-wee for you. So you could just ease right on through. If you're still buying the paper, that's good. Make sure you buy the paper, stay informed, figure out which stories are important. If you go through digital media, that's an option too. Or maybe you want to look at some old school TV, or maybe go online. That's what I'm here for, to get you through the top stories. Let's get to story number 7. Was the city prepared for the first winter blast? That's a big question. 13 deaths and 1,300 accidents. Patrol troopers also assisted more than 4,200 motorists. So that answers the question. No, the city was not prepared. Locally, the wind and bitter cold seemed to do the most damage, causing pipes to burst at the downtown police station and signs to fall off many buildings, local buildings. Now, plowing was also an issue on many of the main side roads, keeping winter storm preparation at the top of many officials' concerns. And that's why story number 7 almost made it to the top this week. Big headline. Story number 8 and the top local headline and developing news story that made it this week for you. Tim Ryan gets praise for Valley projects. How did this get to the top? I'm going to tell you why. U.S. Rep. Tim Ryan is back in the headlines after sealing a win with $13.6 million for Valley projects. Congressman Ryan, he got former Congressman Ryan, he got approved. His Congress approved all of the 15 earmarks for projects that Tim Ryan requested, including 7 in the Mahoning Valley, according to a front page Vindicator report published December 24th. Now, as a part of a $1.7 trillion omnibus appropriations bill, the Senate voted 68 to 29, with 18 Republicans joining 50 Democrats in the majority. Now, the bill now heads to President Joe Biden's desk. Now, this was Tim Ryan's last vote as a member of Congress. He will be relieved of his duty after 20 years in the U.S. House of Representatives. Now, he lost to J.D. Vance for a Senate seat vacated by former Senator Robert Portman. Now, the article is a must-read, highlighting most of the funding that Ryan has played a part in, bringing this funding to the local community. So goodbye, Tim, and some people will thank you for your services, some people won't. That's the nature of politics. Some people like you, some people don't. But this number 8 story got to the top because it was a very in-depth article, and it went into detail about the last thing that Ryan was able to accomplish. Whether you like him or not, he did get 15 earmark projects approved. So that's our top story this week. I'm sure there will be a lot of news coming out about it, especially about the pros and cons. So, well, folks, those are our top 8 local headlines and developing news stories that made this week. I'll be right back with the top 8 international headlines and developing news stories. So don't you go anywhere. You're the Mediator, me, Brian West. I'll be right back. Tune in and don't forget to subscribe to Method 8 Inc. YouTube channel. You can also watch free public entertainment. And don't forget to show some support by visiting www.method8inc.com by buying something, clicking something, watching something, or just reading something. You can also sponsor a program as well. That's www.method8inc.com. Buy stuff, watch stuff, or read stuff.
What does Method8Inc.com Media Center have that I need?
Small prints, event consulting, photography, business consulting, technical consulting, entertainment consulting, fundraising advice, event videography, movies, news, publishing, media, books, entertainment, acting, broadcasting, public relations, access to the visual and performing arts, ink and black ink refills, audio recording, graphic design, theater, minor computer and cell phone repair, and they're located at 5648 Market Street in Boardman, Ohio from 10 a.m. until 6 p.m. every Monday through Friday. The list goes on and on.
Method8Inc.com. Buy stuff, watch stuff, or read stuff.
Oh yeah! And yes, we are chipmunks.
I'm gonna schedule you back in about a week, alright? Put you on 10 milligrams. If you need any refills, you gotta let me know, alright?
I didn't become a doctor to drug people.
Give up on your dream, John. You cannot cure crazy.
But he's one of my patients.
No, patience! Well, tell him to stop coming here and robbing me!
Are you married? I see your ring. Yeah.
But all I know is I need you and you will need me.
Why don't you have your wedding photos up?
Well, I have my reasons for that.
No! You don't know anything about my patients, Kathy. You don't know anything about what these kids, these parents are going through out here. There's a jungle out here, Kathy. So stay your lane.
I don't have a chemical imbalance. I just want to go home.
Together, we can make magic.
Please don't leave me this way!
I'll need therapy after this. Who will check and see if I'm okay?
Hey, Doc. Don't let me down. Because those meds, they're working.
Welcome back. Now it's time to get to the top 8 international headlines and developing news stories that made it this week. Folks, it is New Year's resolution time. Everybody makes a New Year's resolution, mostly everybody. I've just given up on making New Year's resolutions. Really, it's a waste of my time. Some years I plan to get out of debt. Never happens, or pay off some bills, or try to be debt free. In America, that's very, very hard, especially when you have a lot of poor family members, including yourself, around you. Then some years I try not to look at women. I'll stay celibate. That never happens. The internet comes calling, beautiful women all around me, and some of them choose to advertise their goodies. So that never fails. So this year, I don't think I'm going to make a New Year's resolution. Could be maybe to go to church a little bit more. No, that's not going to happen. I'm scarred for life. I said to study at home. Maybe my New Year's resolution will be to maybe spend more time with my mom. You know, me and my mom, we've got to learn to stick together, because the family, this is the New Year's resolution I hope that everybody tries to devote themselves to. My New Year's resolution this year probably will be to try to spend more time with my mom and my family. Over the years, I've learned, especially what's been happening in the nature of the world, that your family may be troubled, that we may have problems, but at the end of the day, sometimes family is really all you have left, family and friends. So that's my New Year's resolution this year, is to try to bond more with the family. I've even made a song about it. There will be something special in 2023. When you get your heart broken, smashed, beat up, left for dead, told that you're a rotten animal, you can look at your cousin who just got out of jail, needs to borrow $20, and be free with your family, who needs your last dollar, your last cup of tea, your last drop of sugar, and who may be hiding a family secret that you never want to hear, may tell you about it. Next thing you know, you are sitting in your room crying, listening to Rihanna's new song, Lift Me Up. Well, folks, we've all got skeletons in the closet, so let's waste no time. Let's get to it. Story number one. Happy 2023. Story number one. This holiday season was hell for the travel industry, folks. Winter storms put a dagger in some folks' holiday plans, folks. That's a fact. Storms were so bad that some people were left stranded on highways in their cars, and some didn't make it. A historic death toll of 50 has been reported as a result of the storm. Southwest Airlines had to cancel about 2/3 of its flights due to the storms. According to the Wall Street Journal, the report claims that the airline had to cancel more than 8,000 flights, folks. That's bad economics. So story number one crept in this week. That's bad. Story number two. What is going on in Peru? I have a good friend from Peru, very good friend. 6 generals have been arrested after a tense investigation of ex-President Castillo. The anti-corruption unit of Peru's Attorney General's office on Monday detained the generals amid allegations that former President Pedro Castillo illegally promoted police and military officers. So far, the president has denied any charges. So story number two crept in this week. Good old Peru. Story number three. China and Taiwan in top headlines. One ABC News report on the 26th of December gained national attention after China sent 71 warplanes towards Taiwan after the United States passed a defense bill. The bill signed by President Joe Biden includes funding for Taiwan. Now, along with support for its meaningful participation in the international community. Now, according to the report, officials from China's People's Liberations Army said the military drills were in response to a provocation from the U.S. and Taiwan. Now, tensions between Taiwan and China have continued to make headlines. That's why story number three crept in this week. Story number four. How much fentanyl was seized in 2022? The BBC reports that the U.S. has seized enough fentanyl in 2022 to kill every American. According to the article, the DEA intercepted 379 million potentially deadly fentanyl doses. Now, it's important to note that it only takes 2 milligrams of fentanyl to be deadly. That's enough on a tip of a pencil. Now, fentanyl is 50 times more powerful than heroin and is the deadliest drug facing the United States at this particular time in the drug war. Now, the article goes on to stress the fact that most of it is coming from Mexico. The camouflaging of fentanyl is also an important note because fentanyl can look like pain pills or candy. Now, last year, more than 100,000 Americans died from a drug overdose, with 2/3 attributed to fentanyl. Well, folks, those are our top 4 local or international headlines in developing news stories that made this week. I'll be right back with the top 4, so don't you go anywhere. You're the Mediator. Me, Brian West. I'll be right back.
In the reflection of love, is it possible for one to see hate? Is it possible for one to see 2 worlds? Is hate the opposite of love?
I will do whatever it takes to fall in love.
You're about to experience something real magical.
Magic. At this moment, Nana, you have a choice that I no longer have. That's impossible. Oh no, she did it. If she hadn't, the sun wouldn't have come out. And she wants to make them.
Well, hurry it up. You know rush hour comes in the afternoon. Lana, I do worry about you.
Haven't you noticed how dark it is around here lately?
you want to check out the stories that almost made it in or did make it in, go to our Twitter feed on our website. Check out everything. All of the sources are there. It goes to the website. It's method8inc.com. Method8inc.com, where you can buy something, click on something, watch something, read something, or just sponsor the program. Welcome back. Now it's time to get to the top 4 international headlines and developing news stories that made it this week, folks. In 2023, I have been hearing from males that they are very, very concerned about the future of the relationships, and women, because of not only just having to pay child support, bad relationships, cheating, and it's hard for both male and female. I mean, for women, you got to look at this is a creature that God made that gets up every day and looks beautiful for the world. Not only that, but when they got their right to vote and got rights, they group together and they come together, and unlike a lot of males that can't seem to come together. So women right now are really impacting the future. I mean, they're able to think like males, and some males now are able to think like females. Very scary. So we're in this battle in 2023, and some people are choosing to stay on the sideline, but some of these women are just like candy. They got to be touched. They're sweet. Ooh, yeah, they're sweet. And there's a lot of males that that can't stay out of the cookie jar. There's a lot of women. So in 2023, I hope people can get some self-control, because the booty is on the stock market, folks, and the numbers are high. They're giving it. Some women are just giving it away. Some males are just giving it away. It's causing a lot of problems. Could it be the problem? The Achilles heel in 2023, folks. Time will tell. I've been choosing to do my best to control the beast, but a lot of males and women cannot control the beast. Ooh, the evil beast. Well, folks, that's my story in 2023. Be on the lookout. So let's waste no time. Let's get to these top stories. Let's get to it. Story number 5. Why Putin's war has so many angles. The Guardian has a piece highlighting some key elements of Putin's war with Ukraine. There are so many angles to this still ongoing saga that's still making headlines. Now, either way, the question is, how did this war develop in the first place? The confusion depends on the source. The main media pushes one narrative while the alternative media pushes another. But no matter what source you depend on, the fact is that there are a lot of misplaced Russians right now, many who are now dead and many left stranded in what's being labeled Putin's war. Now, as this war continues into 2023, a lot of people on the outside will still be wondering what Putin's angle is, and if he has a legitimate reason for declaring war on an independent neighbor in the first place, especially in a time when good diplomatic leaders are needed the most. Simply put, what is really the big deal in this war, what is really the biggest deal in him declaring war, is what people want to know. That's why story number 5 crept in this week, because people want to know what his end game is and what really is the big deal to declare war now. Big headline. Story number 6. The rate of people migrating is at dangerous levels, folks. 200 starving Rohingya refugees made headlines after being rescued from a stricken vessel. Now, the U.S.-Mexico border also remains in the headlines after migrants were reportedly dropped off on the doorsteps of Vice President Kamala Harris. Now, I'm still fact-checking the story, but it did make some headlines. They were dropped off at her house, some say to prove a point. Now, footage with thousands of people standing and camping out in cardboard boxes on various news sites also shows how the rate of people migrating and seeking refuge continues to hit dangerous levels. This is really going on, and this story is still developing. That's why story number 6 made it this week. Story number 7 and the top 2 international headlines and developing news stories that made it this week. Almost there, folks. I've come a long way to give you these top 2 stories, just for you, to keep you informed. Nothing else. I don't want anything out of there. I just want you to stay informed. Story number 7. Are we talking enough about the drug problems? This is a very, very real deal story. Seats at a stadium, seats at the dinner table, and seats at churches are empty. Potential business customers, potential families, and potential entrepreneurs are all faded into lost dreams and illusions because of drugs. Drugs have somehow seeped into everything, and according to a Washington Post piece, have become the deadliest public health crisis in American history. The story involves frantic emergency calls and teams of pediatrics, paramedics, not just pediatrics, there have been kids involved too, but paramedics trying to revive victims, pediatricians. Now, whatever paramedics and pediatricians dealing with children having to be drug babies, kids touching that stuff, so this is a real deal story. Now, whatever the end game was for those in the drug business, families and friends all across the world have fallen victim to the fact that they decided to sell that stuff and get involved with the drug trade. That's why story number 7 made it to the top 2 this week, almost made it to the top. Story number 8 at the top, international headline and developing news story that made it this week. Ooh-wee for you. Ooh, knowing stories the way I do, I can say for certain that they're true. I've checked the sources too. I surely feel like the time is near. A little bit of stories make it clear. Be informed is why we're here. To be informed is why we're here, folks. And that's why story number 8 is such a big, big headline. Folks, a farmer's prediction does not look good for 2023. I'm going to stay optimistic, though. One Fox News article points out how due to a drought, supply chain shortages, and the rising cost of doing business, it has made it difficult for farmers. We cannot forget the farmers. The story goes on to point out predictions for a rough road ahead in 2023. Food prices increased 10.6%. I have to note that, while overall inflation hit 7.1% last year, according to the article. Many market watchers remain optimistic, though, even me, even in these dire times, folks. Well, folks, those are our top 8 local and international headlines and developing news stories that made it this week. I hope you got something out of today's program. I always get something out of the research. As usual, I'd like to thank all the news outlets, the journalists, the people on the front lines. You deserve all the credit. I'm just the media, the man in the middle. If you want to show some support here at Method 8, it does not take much. All you have to do is visit the website on the screen, buy something, click on something, watch something, read something, or a sponsor program. Welcome to 2023, folks, and I'm wishing you a blessed new year, folks. I am out here. I'll be back next week with over 200 or more stories just to keep you informed, Lord willing. I'm out here. Have a good week, everybody. Thank you for tuning to the Mediator with me, Brian West. Peace.
If you need help, then dial your operator.
Have no fear, fellow citizens. The Mediator is here.